can finally put this up without being a poser. Let's do it. Top Gun is one of those movies that's been referenced so much in other movies that you feel like you've seen it already even if you haven't, if that makes any sense. The film was kind of a phenomenon in the 80s. Even though it wasn't necessarily critically acclaimed, audiences really did connect with it. It had the very popular tie-in song of course, Take My Breath Away, which I'm sure helped the movie and the song in the long run. I think the biggest reason that it connected is because it's just fun. It's action-packed, it's easy to digest. The aerial stunts are real and they hold up really well because of it. When you see real planes doing real things up in the sky, it's just exciting to watch, and I admire their effort to make it as real as possible. Then of course you have the rising star power of Tom Cruise, who to me is just a natural born movie star. And you see it in this movie in every single scene that he's in. I mean, he commands your attention every single time. A lot of people these days try to discredit Tom Cruise because of the Scientology thing or the couch jumping thing, just calling him crazy. And don't get me wrong, he is a little bit of a loon. But to do what he does, to be quite honest, I feel like you have to be at least a little bit crazy. And the fact that he puts everything into a role, I think that kind of dedication just deserves your respect. In this movie, he plays a cocky fighter pilot who wants to prove to everyone that he's as good as he believes that he is. Maybe a little bit of the real Tom Cruise in there. I think what's interesting and relatable about his character is that as good as he is, he still has flaws, even if he doesn't recognize them, and he's still trying to constantly live up to his father's legacy, who did the same exact thing that he's doing, and he faces considerable tragedy and adversity while trying to do so. And that adversity through the course of the picture actually makes him question his abilities and whether he is as good as he thinks he is. Slowly he has to learn how to be himself again, while also growing and learning to become a team player. Because early on in this picture, he's pretty much all about himself. He's a showboat, he's a show off, and he just does things the way he wants them done, regardless of the rules. It should be noted, this was obviously my first time actually seeing the tragedy of Goose. I knew it was coming and it still hit hard. It's just a really emotional moment. And they set it up so nicely, showing Goose with his family and the relationship that he has with Maverick. And it's just so heartbreaking when it actually happens. The cast is just filled with recognizable faces. Kelly McGillis, Tom Skerritt, aka Dallas from Alien, Anthony Edwards, aka the other doctor from ER, Meg Ryan, aka the chick who gets mail from Tom Hanks, Michael Ironside, every bad guy ever, and a very young Tim Robbins in a blink and you might miss it type role. And of course the foil to Tom Cruise's Maverick, Iceman himself, played by a cocky yet over-the-top Val Kilmer, who reportedly actually didn't want to even be in this movie, but had to due to contractual obligations. Nevertheless, it's obviously become one of his most iconic roles, and I think it's very memorable for both good and bad reasons. Definitely no denying Kilmer's talent and charisma. It shows through in every scene that he's in. He does steal the show in most of his scenes because he just chews up scenery like no one's business. The funny part is he does it and it looks like he's not even trying, really, if that makes sense. If I had to say my biggest problem with the movie is actually the romantic scenes, which I know that it's kind of known for, actually. From the flirting to the sex, it's just really super cheesy. Maybe that was an 80s thing, I don't know. This movie features the most tongue in a make-out scene that I've ever seen in my life. I can't believe I'm talking about it in this review, but it's just so out there I had to. Tom Cruise's tongue literally looks like a fishing line being dropped in to Kelly McGillis' mouth. I understand that scene in Hot Shots so much more now. It makes all the sense in the world. I'd also be foolish not to mention Tony Scott. He brings such a unique energy to his movies that not many directors are able to do. One of the calling cards of great directors is just realizing you're watching one of their movies when you're watching it. And this feels like a Tony Scott movie. He might not have the most obvious style as a director, but his trademarks are there if you know what to look for. I really feel like Michael Bay has been trying to emulate Tony Scott for years and has just been failing miserably. Didn't mean to take a shot at Michael Bay, but it is what it is. R.I.P. to Tony Scott as well. You are sorely missed. In conclusion, I think Top Gun is a product of its time, and I mean that in the most flattering way possible. This is a simpler time in movies when masculine characters and themes weren't overanalyzed, and feminists wouldn't be criticizing it for being problematic. It's just guys being guys, and to be quite honest, I think audiences have always connected with those simplistic ideas in movies, especially in the 80s. You take those basic ideas and you throw in some action-packed aerial scenes directed by Tony Scott, as well as a charismatic lead like Tom Cruise, and you have a recipe for success. Even if the love scenes are a bit awkward and haven't really aged well. Overall, I'd recommend Top Gun to anyone just looking for a good time, because that's what this movie is. A sequel was actually supposed to be released this year, but was pushed back due to COVID, like most new releases. When it does come out, I think it's going to be interesting to see Maverick in a mentor type role. They do set up the idea of him training other pilots at the end of the original movies, so that's cool. They're kind of keeping continuity there. It'll also be interesting to see how his old school way of doing things kind of clashes with the more technologically advanced modern way of doing things, which I think always is a good conflict when you're bringing old franchises into the new era. I'm definitely looking forward to watching it though. Have you seen Top Gun? I'm sure you have, but let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.